It just came out like a month ago or a couple months ago. And that really kind of brought it up to the next level.
First off, can you clarify LED walls versus green screen?
LED wall is an actual like LED panel. So you're like a TV screen. Think of a TV screen. So the image is on the screen, right? But the green screen is just a green paint. So with the green screen, you're doing VFX after you filmed, then you're putting something to replace that green. But with the LED wall, you're filming everything in camera. So whatever you film, you're taking that footage and that's your final, picture.
Which do you prefer using?
LED wall, but I haven't done it yet. But I think I would like it because there's a lot of benefits to LED wall if you can get the wall, because it's quite expensive compared to green screen. But if you can get the LED wall, what you're getting is you have the light coming from the actual LED wall itself, which gives it much more of a realistic lighting effect. With green screen, you have to put a light over there and like recreate the light that would be coming from that direction. Another thing is like reflections. So with the green screen, you're not gonna get that, but with LED wall, you can see reflections of whatever image, scenery. So that creates another more realistic image. But also for actors, they're now immersed in the environment, so they can act as if they're actually, wherever. Whereas with green screen, it's harder for an actor.
And so with a green screen, a lot of that's done on the timeline, the editing timeline. You're adding the background
afterwards, post-production, you're gonna add that VFX in there. But with LED, as a director too, you can already see exactly what this is gonna look like. You don't need the visual effects artist to tell you like, oh, see this image? We're gonna put this there, and then we're gonna put this thing there. You can see exactly what that's gonna look like along with the lighting and everything.
How many virtual production studios have you visited?
I visited maybe 3. Yeah, 3 studios. Yeah, so not that many.
Here in the LA area or some in San Diego?
There's a lot in LA. I think we have the most in the world right now. Don't quote me on that.
Okay, all right. And what is Unreal Engine?
Unreal Engine is a game engine that was created by Epic Games, originally for video games, to create video games. But now, in recent years, they've started using it for film and TV because the 3D rendering has caught on to be very photorealistic, but at the same time, you could do it in real time. Like you can move things around and change lighting in real time instead of having to wait for a render, which, back in the days would take, many hours or days to render out like a sequence.
Have you used Unreal Engine with any of your productions?
So for my new project, Killing of a Machine, this is the first time I'm using Unreal Engine for a project, but I did spend about 8 months learning Unreal Engine with a school called CG Pro. And yeah, they've been great. The main instructor there, Ed Dawson, he was the VFX supervisor for The Lion King and The Jungle Book. And yeah, through them, as well as other like online tutorials and resources, I was able to learn how to use the software. And I created my own environment, my own level. And that's where my story takes place.
And so did you take classes at an actual classroom or this was all online?
Oh, it was all virtual.
All virtual, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so do you have to have a special computer just for that? Is it taking up too much?
Yeah, you do need a very powerful computer, PC. You gotta get a PC. And the graphics card needs to be pretty powerful. And yeah, I don't know that much about computers, so I basically went to this custom computer company, Puget Systems, and I was like, I need something for Unreal Engine, just whatever you guys build, just make sure it works for that program. And they were able to create a really powerful system.
And so is it like a regular timeline like Final Cut Pro or Adobe, but it's different because
it's different. The interface is there's a lot more going on, but similar. There is a timeline aspect to it, but there's much more to the software because you're dealing with 3D objects. So you're dropping 3D objects in and moving things around. But there is a timeline aspect as well.
And are you saving these projects on the computer or in the cloud?
On the computer.
Yeah. Okay, so you have to have a lot of space, it sounds like,
mm-hmm.
to these projects. Wow.
Yeah.
So you said it was a 9-month course?
No, I've just been doing my own studying for about 9 months, but for this class, it was only a 2-month course.
And so with your short film, you're going to do the entire film with Unreal Engine, is that right?
So you can do animation with everything in Unreal. So that would just be like a CGI movie. But for mine, I'm creating the background and the world in Unreal Engine, but I'm gonna be filming it on a actual LED volume with live actors. So you put the live actor in a costume in front of the wall, but on the wall is gonna be the actual environment that I've created.
And you show some of that on your YouTube channel, correct?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of
experiments. Yeah, a little bit. My earlier prototype kind of design, but now my Previz, it's a lot better. And that's what's great about Unreal Engine. Even if you're not filming something, on an LED wall for a filmmaker, you can create Previz within the engine and, bring in like actors, mannequins, and plan out your shots so that when you get on set, you already can see exactly what your film is going to look like, because a lot of indie filmmakers, especially, you don't have the luxury of getting on set and going like, oh, let's try that shot, or let's try this. Oh, you know what? Move that light over there. Let's try a different thing. You have to just go, go, go. But if you try out all your, variations beforehand, then when you get on set, you already know like which shot looks cool, how to do the sequence. So it gives you much more planning and control.
So you're going to use sort of a manipulated background with the LED panel, but then live actors who will be there at the same time that you're filming?
Yeah, for mine, yep.
Interesting, wow. And then the LED panel, is it like many, many feet, or is it several panels put together?
It's a huge panel or a huge wall. So they come in different sizes, but each panel is like, like a square piece. So, but they'll put all these little panels together. The wall is pretty huge. I don't know exactly how tall, probably 15 feet kind of thing.
So you have to book time you have to block it out and have a production schedule in order to use the...
Yeah, it's kind of like any stage, you would just book it by a day. Yeah, it's like a day rate.
Wow, that's really cool. How much has this changed your life, this Unreal Engine and this virtual production?
It definitely changed it in a different direction, a much more exciting direction. I mean, I pretty much, once I found out about it, I was like, okay, I gotta learn this. So, I mean, I dumped all my money into the computer and taking classes. But it gave me a new outlook in terms of how I can tell my stories. Because, for example, this short film, I wrote this script maybe like 2 years ago, and thinking I'll never be able to make it because, it takes place in the Arctic and, there's spaceships and whatever, and, VFX itself would cost so much money. But now I can make it because I learned how to do the VFX myself, and it really wasn't that difficult to learn. And that's what's so great about Unreal Engine is like, you don't really need to be like a VFX artist to understand how to use it, because a lot of the assets are pre-created already. So you're just pulling in assets and like customizing it and changing it, and then you already have your world. You're not really building it from scratch.
Is it compatible with a Mac?
Yeah, you can use it with Mac, but most people don't recommend doing that because there's some things with Mac that I guess it can't really process. I'm not 100% sure how that works, but yeah, a lot of people have some issues with Macs.
May I ask, what does it cost to use this technology?
Well, The software itself is free. You just have to have a really sick computer. Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest barrier is the computer. My computer cost almost 4,000, but to rent the LED stages, they're quite expensive right now, but they're starting to come down, and you can maybe find a smaller stage that maybe has a smaller LED panel, and you could do a hybrid. You could shoot some green screen, like the wide shots, and then go to the LED for your medium and close shots. So there's always ways to, work around it. And depending on your budget, you can probably negotiate with some of the studios as well, because right now it's so new that a lot of these studios, they want to make content to show other filmmakers, hey, you can do this. Like, this is what it looks like. Because a lot of people don't really know about this yet. And they still think like, oh, it's going to look fake or something. But if the studios can prove that on an indie budget, you can make something realistic, that would get more business for them. So they're actually willing to, really negotiate and work with you if you have a cool project.
If you were to use Unreal Engine, let's say for Las Vegas scenes, let's suppose there were scenes that you just really couldn't get, you needed a certain kind of permits or it wouldn't be safe, would you actually film the background and then upload that to Unreal Engine and then have that as part of the LED panel, or you're creating it graphically?
I think I would probably create it. Yeah, because you can already get pre-existing, like perfectly modeled Vegas scenes, and you would just drop it into your level and move things around a little bit, change the lighting, and then just have that there. Yeah, because if you go and film, then you don't have the dynamic ability to move the angles. Or unless you would have to film every single angle, like that just wouldn't be practical. But if you have the environment, you can go in that scene and get any angle you want, put the actor anywhere you want, change the lighting however you want. You can even change what's in the background, move things around.
So it kind of has its own templates for different, whether you're in France or Vegas, or I know you had one where you were in the forest, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Your channel. That looked really...
So on Epic Games, they have a marketplace where they have a lot of these levels and things already pre-made. And there's people making their own assets and just, selling them. I mean, a lot of it is for free actually on Quixel. You can download all these like really high detailed 3D assets for free. But there's also people who are selling them for like, $20, $30 kind of stuff.
So people, you said, make their own assets, their own graphics or whatever. Interesting. That's fascinating. Do you think it's affordable for most independent filmmakers?
I think right now there's a little bit of a barrier because of the computer issue, but I think it's going to change, and as the LED panels get cheaper, you're going to see the studio rates go down lower as well. So it's definitely affordable for indie filmmakers. And, there's different levels of it as well. There's people using a projector, like a home projector, to do the same type of workflow. Or you can even use a TV. Like, it's pretty interesting what some of these people are doing. Like, if you go on YouTube, you'll see people doing their own, like, hacks of how they can do it. Like, in their home studio, like, they can do it. Yeah.
Interesting. So they have their own, let's say, big screen TV, and they have some type of image in the background. Yeah. Wouldn't it reflect? Wouldn't you see certain, or there are ways around that where
you just have to get the lighting right, like the lighting that's on the TV. But yeah, there's ways to do it. I've seen it with the projector. It actually looked pretty good.
How soon do you think you'll see YouTubers, vloggers with this technology in their bedrooms, and they're vlogging and they're somewhere in the Sahara Desert?
I think there's already people doing that. So it's already here. This technology has only been used for the last 3 years. But with Unreal Engine 5, it just came out like a month ago or a couple months ago. And that really kind of brought it up to the next level. there's a few features in there where just like the realism of the characters, it's next level. And there's a thing called metahumans. And now they just released this thing where you can scan anything, but probably you want to scan your own face and make yourself into a metahuman. The metahuman just means that it has a complex skeleton system. And they have a bunch of pre-made character faces that you can manipulate, but now you can bring in your own assets and make it into a metahuman.
Wow.
So we're definitely going to be seeing a lot of very interesting things soon.
Yeah, what if you're sleeping and the metahuman comes out of your PC
That is a movie.
and attacks you? Yeah, and there you go.